it's rather nice to see all this excitement, all this bread and circuses going on in the little principality, even if you have to pay through the nose for it. And you pay through the nose for everything in this place. This thing that looks like a parking meter is just a way of charging the boat owners for fresh water.
Aerofoils have added another stage to the tuning process. These thin, spidery wings play an important part in improving the car's road holding, using the airflow to push it down onto the track. Vital components are checked to see how they stand up to the strain, and faults are traced and worked out one by one. The mechanics try different adjustments and the effects are measured. Finished for the day, Hill is still dissatisfied at his failure to equal Stewart's performance. Once a mechanic himself, Hill knows better than most the value of teamwork. His pit crew earn their pay 10 times over, juggling with the car's spiderweb framework. It's delicate and exacting work with a car built to Chapman's philosophy of lightness and strength, but Hill's experience eases their task. He can tell exactly what needs to be done to make the car behave as he wants. And if all else fails, he's not above taking a spanner and doing the job himself.
It seems that we can never come to Monte Carlo for either a rally or a Grand Prix without a row of some sort. And this year the row was about aerofoils. It all started before the first practice on Thursday with the club saying that they weren't, after the accidents in Spain, going to allow aerofoils on this circuit. The reason being that further down the road here at the Tabac corner, some of the brickwork overhangs the track and they were afraid people were going to knock the aerofoils off and they were going into the crowd. Well, then the fun started. Matra said that their cars have been designed to have aerofoils. There was nothing in the international regulations against them and they weren't taking them off. Rudd at BRM said that although there was nothing in the regulations, if it was going to be a danger to the public, the manufacturers would have to give way. Well, that's what he said, but nevertheless they had aerofoils on. Lotuses came out looking like good boys, saw everybody else wasn't being good boys, and put their aerofoils back on again. So we had a Thursday practice with everybody in aerofoils. At the end of the practice, we had a public announcement that there was going to be a meeting of the CSI at 5:30 and a meeting of the constructors at 6:30, and then the fun really began. They decided that there weren't going to be aerofoils, and everybody would have to take them off. There was a slight diversion while people argued about whether you could have aerofoils that came inside the back wheels or whether if they weren't so high. And everybody explained that you couldn't muck about with the things. You'd either have to take them off or leave them on. And as only half the people were at either of the meeting, and this is quite usual in Grand Prix racing, you never get everybody to do anything, the constructors that were there turned round to the club and said, well, you'll have to make up your minds. Either tell us to take them off or tell us to leave them on. So the club stuck to its guns and said take them off, which everybody did. The Metropole bar was full of people moaning about the fact that the tyres weren't right and the shock absorbers weren't right and everything else. And then everybody got up at the crack of dawn on Friday morning and went out on the circuit. Aerofoils are missing, and the question in everybody's mind is whether they're ever going to come back or not. It looks fairly likely that later on in the year they will be banned forever, and this might not be a bad thing because, for one thing, it looks as though more people will finish races. That was Ford's point of view anyway, which was something for the public. And it's likely, I think, to bring on much faster the future of four-wheel drive, which is surely going to be a very big thing for Grand Prix racing. So let's hope that out of the mess and the row and the argument, some good is going to come.